Hello, you lovely person. Thank you for clicking on this video. I just want to give two disclaimers before properly getting into it all. First off, this is technically a part 2 to a previous video I did on the main Xenoblade Chronicles game. I highly recommend you go watch that before watching this, as it kinda sets the stage for where I'm coming from and where I stand with Xenoblade. And number 2, this video is going to contain spoilers for both the entirety of the base game, as well as the entirety of Future Connected. Yes, as shocking as it may be, I'm actually doing an Is a Good Game after having finished the game. Future Connected is so short that I decided to just cover the entire thing. For once, this review Pression series is just a straight up review. If you're not ready to have the entire plot of Xenoblade Chronicles spoiled, this is your final warning. So for those of you who watched my last video on Xenoblade, where I spent the first 3 minutes talking about my undying love for the perfection that is the title screen, you're probably wondering what I think of the new one you unlock after beating the game. I like it. It's great that we have a new way of seeing the new world Shulk created at the end of the game. Plus, it's nice just to see everyone hanging out and being friends. My only real complaint, however, is that the day-to-night cycle is way too fast. Both day and night last a fraction of how long they lasted with the original opening, and Twilight is literally 9 seconds long. And this isn't even going into how this title screen doesn't last the entire length of the main theme. I still think the original is the best ever made, but this one's nice too. As for Future Connected's title screen, it's pretty. I don't have too much of an opinion that's really worth noting. It's very pretty. It's what I come to expect from Xenoblade. I like it.
Last time on Dragon Ball Z, a JRPG did what a JRPG does, and God is dead. Fire and brimstone now cover the land, and everyone is screaming in pain. Local bird lady thinks she saw a samurai with short black hair and a gauntlet hanging around, but no one's really sure what to make of it. Video games to blame. More at 11.
So when we learned of Future Connected's existence, the very first question in many fans' mind was whether or not Jenna Coleman would come back to play Melia. Thankfully she did, but her first line immediately got my brain turning.
All right, I'm on my way.
It's not a bad read, but it is just the beginning of a new take on Melia that I'm not really unable to confidently explain. In Future Connected, Melia is much more quiet and reserved. Her voice is also a lot deeper. It feels less like the princess she was in the original, and more like the empress she became. Jenna is giving a different take on Melia here than she did 8 years ago, but I'm not really sure what the reason behind it is. In the years since the original's release, Jenna has gone on to be a fairly famous actress in the UK. Maybe in that time she forgot how she originally portrayed Melia. Maybe she made an active decision to portray her in this way, knowing Melia has spent a year acting as not only the leader of her people, but as a part of the group trying to lead the reconstruction of society in this new world. Maybe Jenna's acting skills have evolved and this is just how she is now. Regardless, I don't think it's a bad performance in the slightest. Just a different one. I'm just glad they got such a fan favorite back for what is essentially her game. Oh, and the voice acting is good across the board too. Adam Howden remains the GOAT.
You're the chiclets.
Oh man, Shulk has a new Monado, and it's called the Monado Replica EX. I wonder why it's called that. The Monado Replica EX. I wonder if it's a reference to the T-Rex boss in Xenogears.
It's Kino and Nene.
Gameplay differences. Some elements of this new adventure are very different from the adventure so far. Okay. The most major points will be introduced on the following pages. As you progress through the adventure, instead of chain attacks, you will unlock an all-new system for performing all-out attacks.
You'll never see it coming!
Let's get into battles. While this is ultimately the same combat system as the base game, it is slightly different. Visions are gone, which makes sense given the ending of the game, and in my opinion, it fixes the pacing of the battles. It makes me wish they had changed how visions worked in the base game so things never came to a grinding halt. However, since visions are gone, some of Shulk's Monado arts are made somewhat pointless. For instance, I never use shield or speed except for when it would prevent a vision. While I can use it in battle, it never feels necessary for me to actually use them. Though honestly, this isn't much of an issue at all, as the game starts you off as Melia. Future Connected is all about her, so I'd rather play as Melia most of the time anyway. And since I'm not playing as Shulk, I don't need to worry about whether to use the Monado arts. I can just leave it up to the AI that's still pretty freaking brain dead. Yay. The other major change is the removal of chain attacks in favor of union strikes, which are special attacks that become more powerful the more pawn specters you recruit. It's a neat little system that I feel makes things feel more unique. I don't think it could ever act as a solid enough replacement for chain attacks, but it still works well. As for Kino and Nene, they're literally just Rein and Charla in terms of their kit. Kino is just Charla but small, and Nene is Rein if he was a fucking weeb and did the Naruto run everywhere. Shit, Shulk literally says it after the first battle. In that respect, it's pretty disappointing, but I can't help but feel Kino's AI is better than Charla's. I could just be imagining things though, because these two are just so freaking cute, I love them!
Is not fault of sister Pawn. These not scored Nene, fault is of Kino only. Kino. Sincere sorries. Kino wanted to repay debt. Dad upon and Mom upon take Kino in when Kino all alone.
You were alone?
Is truth. One day, out of blue, Dad upon bring Kino home. Said, here is Brother Pon. That day, nobody make comment. Everyone except Kino. Kino, more happy they could say. That why. That way want to become hero Pon and repay debt to family.
The thing that shot at you was no defense platform. It was a monster we've taken to calling the Fog King.
The Fog King?
Oh no, not the fucking!
Quite a predicament, Empress Melia.
It's him, he did it. I don't know what he did, but he did it. Good guys don't glow purple.
Are you all right, child? Wait, Talon.
I am still weirded out by the fact that they took some random ass NPC from the base game and just decided to upgrade him to main character status. I'm even more weirded out by how they made a brand new model for the guy, yet they didn't even use it in the remake portion of this remake. I remember reading a theory prior to the release of DE that said this specific Taos had to have come from the world of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. The reasoning was that the Snowl Taos only exist in Valak Mountain, meaning it was completely and utterly impossible for Monolith Soft just to reuse the frickin' thing and not care about whether or not it made sense for the monster to be here. No offense, but some of you people are stupid. Holy, this cutscene is so well choreographed. The action scenes in Future Connected are so well done. They're even better animated than Xenoblade Chronicles 2's. And just to be clear, by action scenes, I mean the scenes that are actually animated. Not the ones that awkwardly use 10-year-old stock animations that result in Melia knowing Shulk walked up to her without even looking.
Ah, Shulk.
How many times have I told you, you do not go there alone?
But I really needed that material.
Doesn't matter.
Hey, there's the girl.
If something
Oh god, Tyrea is such an interesting character. I always felt like she didn't get enough screen time to really properly explore her character, so her playing such a major role in Future Connected is a total plus in my book.
Aimlessly looking for somewhere to die.
Little Pon Kino also wants to use Biter, but no beef on wings, so could not carry properly. But then, when Kino gets in big sulk, Dadapon go and pick Cumberry from somewhere.
Ricky did. So he can be a model father. I'm impressed.
I swear to God, Future Connected exists exclusively to develop Ricky more. Melia just happens to be the main character. This man borders on cartoonishly evil while still fitting perfectly within the world of Xenoblade 1. I can't really hate him. He's just so sleazy, it's kind of fun. He feels like a Saturday morning cartoon villain. I also love this moment where Melia runs into the lab to save Talon's work. It's like she's acting purely on instincts, and it's amazing. It greatly shows the strength of her character. I just love Melia, even all these years later. How did you arrive to that conclusion? A Telethia attacks Galgar and you automatically assume you know exactly who it is? Just how far along is your research that you can tell exactly which Telethia is which Hyantia? Or what, are you some kind of Shulk? You know, we're halfway through the story, maybe even a little over halfway, so I think now is as good a time as ever to talk about the Bionis Shoulder as a map. In terms of size, it's about the same as, say, the Bionis Leg or Magna Forest. It's a very long map, with a lot of focus being put on separate areas. Magna Forest has the waterfalls, the middle forest, and then the very dense jungle. The Bionis Shoulder has the waterfall and cliff area, the plateau and woods, the dark underbelly, and finally Grandel. It's not any bigger than any other Xenoblade map, but Monolith Soft really packed it with content. There are tons of secrets to find, hidden areas, and visual variety that really makes it stand out. At first, I was thinking it was just going to recycle assets from the Bionis Leg, but I was pleasantly surprised by how different and distinct each area looked. It's also very easy to maneuver around the environment. It never felt like a headache finding my way around, and I was even able to find every landmark and location without trying. It's easily one of my favorite maps from Xenoblade 1. Oh no! The Fog Beasts are invading the town! This sounds like the perfect setup for an absolutely badass battle! Shit's gonna look so awesome! Fires everywhere, people at the gates firing their rifles, Tyrea risking her life to defend the people. Ooh, it all sounds so good! The hell is this? It looks like one of you idiots just left the gate open and a bear wandered in. Fog Beasts are an interesting type of enemy. They're kind of like unique monsters where they're stronger versions of regular enemies. Unlike unique monsters, however, they can actually respawn and they can recruit any other enemies inside of it into the battle, leading to fights that can really test your skills. I ended up running from a lot of these fights early on, but I eventually got the hang of them. Much like Union Strikes, they couldn't really carry an entire game, but they're able to remain interesting throughout the entirety of Future Connected. Oh god, it's gonna take forever for us to get back with Maxis and the companions. I really hope Tyrea and the others can hold the gate long enough. I can't imagine how many awful monsters they're fighting at this very moment.
Fog Beast sighted!
Okay, maybe this section isn't as cool as I was hoping. Let's just get it over with. Oh.
Miss Tyrea, all over. Please, pull back.
Not just yet! Stand firm! Believe in our brethren! Believe in your new leader!
Oh!
Lady Melia! She's back! And it looks like she brought the companions with her!
Let's clear a path.
Oh shit, this is awesome! Let's fucking go! This is amazing! Okay.
Maxis.
This is the weakest part of the game. Not that badass battle that just happened. No, that was badass. I'm talking about the subplot involving Maxis, Radzum, and the divide between Grandel and the companions.
What are you talking about?
For the most part, it's just an okay story about post-war bitterness, but its ending leaves a bad taste in my mouth. While post-war bitterness is what it's ultimately about, there are tinges of racism scattered in both the subplot and even some side quests that just keep me from accepting this ending. Maxis just says sorry and they shake hands. It doesn't ruin anything for me. I just take issue with this resolution after a side quest in which a kid's adoptive Macca grandpa is broken and needs a first aid kit, only for a Hyantia to get angry over you wanting to, quote, waste the kit on one of those cowardly swine.
Huh? Wait up. Melia? Did he say Melia?
Wait.
Indeed.
Did Melia seriously never tell Maxis who she was?
It was not my intent to deceive. I thought if I announced myself, it could bring hope. But it could also bring despair.
How would that bring despair? It would literally let all of these people surviving up here know that there are more out there who lived through the birth of the universe. Literally, what is the downside for being like, hey, it's me, I'm Melia. I know you really can't see anything below you because of how high up you are, but we have an entire civilization down there, and you can actually live without the fear of falling hundreds of miles to your death for once. Okay, we got the enhanced Monado T-Rex, we've done every side quest, we've seen every quiet moment. I think it's time to finally go and face the fucking... No! The real villain of Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. Drugs. Wait a minute. A shadowy enemy that can't be damaged with normal attacks. In order to attack it, you must create a field that grounds them. This is a Gnosis. The Fog King is a Gnosis. Holy shit, the Fog King is a The Fog King's a Gnosis! Do you have any idea what this means? I saw so many people complaining about how Future Connected didn't set anything up and didn't resolve anything, but Jesus Christ, this is the biggest setup they could possibly do! More people need to play Xenosaga! Just... Holy shit. Future Connected is wild. It's definitely not perfect, but it is pretty damn wild. Oh. I think all of its flaws really lie in its story. Going into it, I had two main hopes. One, to see the beginnings of where this series is going, and two, to learn more about the giants. The ruins in which Grandel is built are actually those of the giant civilization that once existed on the Bionis. While they do play a role in the story, we never really got to see the giant civilization during the original battle between Zanza and Mainif 10,000 years prior. I really would have liked it if instead of the conflict between the companions and the Macca, we explored more about the giants. Maybe instead of just doing a few side quests to find the ether crystals needed to improve the Monado, Melia and the crew had to explore the tombs of the giants and in the process learn more about them and how they saw things such as Zanza's possession of Arglus and Dixon's betrayal. The giants are the one thing for the main story I felt needed more development, and I have to admit that I'm disappointed to see we didn't get to learn about them at all. This in spite of their ruins being literally everywhere on the shoulder. Easily the strongest part of this story, outside of that ending that is the relationship between Tyrea and Melia. I think it's a major missed opportunity that Tyrea never joins the party. She would make for a perfect party member, and it would help convey her and Melia's relationship improving as the plot goes on. The two quiet moments between the pair are actually some of my favorite moments in the entire series. I really wish there was more of them. Maybe, I don't know, cut out Galgar so you have more time to focus on the actual best part of Future Connected? Not to say I hated him, but considering how Galgar's subplot is resigned to a side quest after halfway through, doesn't really help his case. I wasn't expecting Future Connected to be another Torna level expansion, but even despite that, I feel like things could have been better. As an epilogue to the original game, as well as the setup for what will come next, I think it serves its purpose well. Here's to whatever happens next in this crazy-ass series. It better be an X2. Oh my god, this title screen is perfect.